Hello everyone, welcome to Canteen Cup. My name is Scott, and what a crazy day we're having. They always say that the grass always grows greenest or the best at the septic tank lines. Well, I think that's true. As you can see on the left there, the grass is growing quite well and quite fervently. Right next to that is a pile of chicken poop. And so yes, the grass is always greener next to the chicken poop pile. All right, well, today I got a couple things I want to talk about. First off, I am working on a YouTube video for the communications plan. It's just taking a little while to plan it out. When you start getting outside of organized organizations, the rules kind of change a little bit because, when you become a volunteer force, so to speak, or a volunteer crew or mag, there's things that people can or won't do or can't afford to do. So I'm trying to address that in developing a good communications plan that most everybody out there can use. So please be patient. In the meantime, I want to talk about Subterfuge and Glocks and Baofengs. We'll start with the Baofengs. And in general, I don't like Baofengs. Yeah, they're cheap, and yeah, they mostly work, but then sometimes they don't. Now, I'm an amateur radio operator. I think most of you know that. And I have, better radios because that's part of what I do. Backpedaling a little bit, in a prior video, I talked about that you can't expect a comms guy who spends maybe thousands and thousands of dollars into his radio equipment to have the same battle rattle as you do that you've spent thousands and thousands of dollars on to acquire. I also gave the example, it's the same thing of your medic or your dentist. They may be spending thousands of dollars putting away supplies and instruments and things that we may need, and therefore may not have the same amount of battle rattle or whatever that you may have. And so, that being said, you make concessions. In other words, the medic or the commo guy or the dentist, may not have full battle gear, but then again, he is not really designed to go out and battle. They're designed to kind of fix the people who come back from the battle. And the same thing goes, with your comms guy. And I'm talking about your main comms guy, your comms chief, your comms sergeant, not necessarily your RTOs or radio telephone operators. They're rear area people, and one of their main functions, besides keeping the inner crew comms going, they talk to other crews either regionally or nationally. So that being said, I feel I'd be a little bit hypocritical if I said that you guys had to have the same radios that I have, which are typically more expensive than the Baofengs. So I made a concession to myself, and I'm going to make it to my groups and my crews, that if you are a dedicated comms person, you should have the better radios. If not, get the Baofengs. They're okay. They're not great, but they're okay, and they will probably do the job that they're intended to do. Some of the issues with the Baofengs is that they are hard to program, and they are hard to sometimes operate. They're not as polished as some of the other brands like ICOM or Yaesu or Kenwood. But that being said, yesterday I went and purchased a Baofeng radio, a standard. I think I paid about $50 for it with a bunch of accessories. And I'm going to get it at the house, and I'm going to play with it. I'm going to learn to program it, and I'm going to learn how to operate it. And that way, when members of my crew buy the Baofeng radios, I can help them with it. That's the other problem with the Baofengs, is people will buy them, and then once they get it home, they say, how do you use it? And so I'm making that, we'll call it a concession, but in thinking about it, I understand that if you're going to spend thousands of dollars, with armor plate and high dollar rifles and optics and all this other stuff, then you shouldn't be required to get we'll say a high dollar radio, and get a Baofeng and we'll work with it. You may have to buy 2 or 3 of them just to have spares, but I am going to get a Baofeng and I'm going to learn how to program it, and then when I get the program down the way I like it, I'll be able to copy it into everybody's radio so that everybody will have the same radio with the same frequencies and the same channel. So if we say go to channel 2, everybody will go to channel 2 on their radio and bingo, we'll be there communicating. All right, enough with Baofengs. Like I said, mine will be coming by the end of this week, and I'll maybe do a video next week or so on how I feel about it after I play with it. All right, Glocks. In general, I like Glocks. I've owned Glocks for about 20 years now, and so in general I like them. However, after shooting my Glock 19 this last time at the range, I found I don't like to shoot it anymore, which is kind of funny, because it is a good shooting pistol. I mean, it probably shoots better than I can aim, but I don't like shooting it, and the reason being is, over this past year I've tried to improve my shooting a little bit. Now mind you, I started shooting pistols over 40 years ago, and so the technology back then is kind of different than the technology now. So I have been adapting my grip to the newer methods of shooting, and I think they're good, which is why I'm doing it. But what it has done is, because I've changed my grip, I've actually moved my hand further up on the grip, and I've got large hands. They're not extremely large, but in the Army I think I wore a size 5 glove, which is the largest that they generally issued. When I go to the store and I buy gloves, I'm either buying large or extra large depending on who made them. So I have a pretty good size hand, and what's happening is, when I put my trigger finger into the housing, my hand is up higher, and so my trigger finger is cocking when it goes into the Glock trigger housing. And so my finger rubs on the bottom and it rubs on the top when I'm pulling the trigger, and after about 10 rounds that's really annoying and really kind of painful, because it's rubbing this area right here where the quick is, and I don't like it. And so I am I'm a little disappointed, because I really kind of like the pistol and I do carry it, but I'm not going to carry it as much because it's a distraction when you're shooting. I'll shoot one of my other pistols. One pistol I still seem to like and shoot well is my Glock 26. And I don't understand the geometry, but when I put my finger in the housing of my Glock 26, I don't get that same rub. So maybe there's a little difference in how I hold it, or how the geometry of the Glock 26 is over the Glock 19. I thought they were the same, but evidently they're not, because definitely it's pronounced in the Glock 19. When I stick my finger in that housing, it rubs in 2 spots, on the low end and the high end, and the high side. I shoot the SIGs with no problem, and I shoot a Rex 01 compact no problem, and I shoot the 26s no problem. It's just that the Glock 19. So I am, for lack of better words, I'm going to back burner the Glock 19 and save it as a backup to the backup to the backup, and shoot some of my other pistols. But you may discover that, like I said, the current technology for holding a pistol is to get your hand as high up on the grip as possible. And what that does for me, like I said, it cocks my finger when I go into the trigger housing of the Glock, and I get a rub. All right, One last thing. I know you all are watching. I think most of you know I live here in Georgia. I went to bed last night about 10:30. Over 85% of the votes were in, and the Republicans are winning both Senate seats. And then I woke up this morning and surprise, you know, the Democrats are winning, and it looks like they're projected to win. And I don't understand. Again, I don't understand that. I mean, I do. I think they said, I read somewhere this morning that overnight, Fulton County and DeKalb County, which are Atlanta counties, came up with 112,000 other votes. So I'm not sure what's going on, but it seems awful squirrely. And I think there's a lot of us here in Georgia that, you know, just have no faith in our state government anymore. And when you have the Secretary of State saying, oh yeah, things are running smoothly, well, you know, we have a lot of controversy about illegal votes. And if they didn't fix the problem from the November election, then are you still counting those same votes now? Are you still counting the dead people, the underage people, the people that have moved out of state, the people that don't have a residence? I don't know. But I do know that if this gets by, and there was illegal tampering, you know, I believe there is. I can't say for sure. The analyst side of me says I can't say for sure because I don't have the facts in front of me to look at. But I've seen enough stuff out there, and stuff that I've observed, you know, makes me tend to believe that there has been tampering, and that there has been some illegal stuff going on, but I can't prove it. And until such time, I can't sit there and say, yes, they did. But I have a very strong suspicion. And, you know, if it happened here, which Georgia is normally a pretty red state. I mean, we didn't go red, purple, blue. We went red, blue. And if it happened here, you know, what that really means is we're the test case for the rest of the country. If they can get away with it here in Georgia, they're going to try it in every other state. So I guess we all got to be first in something. But the rest of you all out there who don't live in Georgia, pay attention. You may be next. And if it does happen, and if it does happen and they do get away with it, then I think it's over. Your vote no longer counts. Nobody's vote counts. The things they're doing in the House right now, they're doing things to squash the minority voice. You know, the end is near, so to speak. I don't know what to tell you. I think if you don't have a passport, you may want to get one. And if you are not putting up food, if you are not preparing to grow your own food, then you need to really consider that and start. You know, we are behind on that power curve as we just moved out here, and we've got a lot of work to do, but every day we're doing something, you know, either for ourselves or for our crews. And so I don't know, it's scary. I keep telling myself, you know, I never thought in my lifetime I would see this, and I never did. I mean, I was born in the 50s, grew up in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s. We didn't have anything like this. So y'all be careful out there, and I mean that. Be careful of what you do, who you talk to, what you say to those people. Be prepared to protect yourself. You know, I'm not saying go all bat stuff crazy and you know, walk downtown with full battle rattle on, but, you know, be observant. Look at what you're looking at. Observe, analyze. Be careful. That's all I have. Stay safe and stay secure, my friends. We'll see you.